You are all very welcome to our 39th MU Live this evening. I'm delighted to welcome colleagues from various departments here at Maynooth University, and Marianne Dunne from Student Services is going to introduce everyone to you here now. So the order of events for this evening, we're going to let each of my colleagues do a short presentation on the accommodation side of things. If you have questions that you would like to pose to the panel, you can pop them in the chat box function or the Q&A function, which is at the bottom of your screens. And we will take a few questions live at the end of their presentations as well. So please do drop any questions to us that you would like to ask us throughout the evening. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you will. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Marianne Dunne in Student Services. Okay,
Thanks
I'm going to just turn off my camera now. You're very welcome. I'll see you later.
So a very warm welcome to you all for a live event this evening. It's great to see such an interest in this topic. Accommodation is always a busy area for us. Marianne is my name. I'm the Director of Student Services here at Maynooth University. And I'm joined with a number of my colleagues from across the campus. I've Seánie, Corla, Maria and Katja here, all of whom are involved in different accommodation options in Maynooth University. And I suppose just to say that we understand the importance for you of securing suitable accommodation for your time at university. And we're confident that you come away from this evening's live event feeling reassured that there's definitely a suitable option available for you in Maynooth. We'll have lots of time for questions and answers, so please do ask us if there's anything that you'd like to know. And basically just to say thank you very much for coming along tonight, and I'm going to hand you over to my colleagues Corla and Maria, who will begin with the first presentation for this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Just give me 1 second here and I'll just share my screen with you. Just 1 second. Bear with me now. Okay, everybody see that there? So you're very, very welcome to the presentation this evening. My name is Maria. I'm here from the residence office, and this evening I'm going to speak to you about on-campus residence and your how to book your accommodation for 2021-2022. So I'll keep it as brief as I can, and hopefully you'll get some answers from ourselves. So the first question that comes up is when and how can I book a room on campus, as in you guys?
Sorry to interrupt, Maria. We just lost you there. Sorry, could you take it from the top again? I do apologize. You're just slightly frozen.
Oh,
yeah, take your time.
So maybe I would go on with the slide.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Corla Mansfield and I'm the residence officer, and Maria and I are both from student residences. Maria, are you back? Would you like to do the slide?
I think I'm back.
Great. Okay, so the great news is that we're opening for booking in August. We will be offering rooms online the first day after the CAO round 1 offers. So we don't know yet what date that would be, because we're waiting for CAO to tell us. Obviously, with COVID, we're not exactly sure. Usually the CAO will have well by now published their dates, but unfortunately that is still unsure and still not published. But we're going to rock in behind them and offer the rooms immediately people have their CAO offers. Maria, I should stop and let you go ahead.
No, not at all. Sorry, guys, the joys of online and the Vodafone services.
Okay, so the people that can book is anybody who has a CAO offer in that round 1 from the CAO. So it's an online booking. A lot of people say, is it a lottery? And it's actually not a lottery. A lottery means that we would pick who gets the rooms. It's actually first come, first served. It's a bit similar, I have to say, because it is a bit on chance, especially if there's a lot of demand. But actually, there'll be less demand than maybe previous years, because normally we book in May, and because we book in May, people are booking whether they have a CAO offer or not. So you'd have way more people booking in May than you will in August. So the great thing about booking in August is that only people who have a CAO offer in Maynooth will have any interest, because if their CAO offer is in Trinity, they're going to be booking in Trinity, not here. And that makes it a little bit easier. It definitely does. And we've noticed that from last year, that the booking was a lot easier. What do you need when you're booking? Well, please don't book on your phone, because while it may work, you actually have way better chance of getting your room and motoring through the booking, the booking form. If you use either your laptop or a PC, you definitely need your internet connection to be very reliable. And your CAO number is super important in this one, because what we do is we match that to the CAO offers to know that you are a student who's coming to Maynooth, or at least has an offer to come to Maynooth. So it's important that you put your CAO offer or your CAO number in correctly. It'll be an 8-digit number. Do write it down beforehand. A lot of people put in the Leaving Cert number and that doesn't match, and then we're trying to figure out why somebody has booked without a CAO offer. So I would say to you, the CAO number is the number you put on the form. And on the day, you do pay a 500 booking fee, and that is to secure the room. So we offer it, and then you take it up by paying a 500 booking fee. There are really lots of other accommodation options, and I know my colleagues are going to probably talk about all of the other options, but we think we're a good option living on campus. I know Maria is going to talk about the community on campus, but living on campus is a good option, and we get very good positive feedback from first years in particular about how easy it is compared to, we'll say, many of the other options that are available. So we would encourage people to consider this as an option. Maria, I'll hand over to you. Maria's got again.
Corla, go ahead.
Okay, so there's a number of schemes that we publish separate to the general offering. The general offering is done in August, but there are other ways and other rooms available on campus that are not part of the general offering. So there's the Seánie Comerford, which encourages people who wish to speak Irish as their main language to come and live together. And we have 30 rooms there. Not all of the 30 rooms are first years. In fact, probably about half of those rooms are first years. And that's a separate arrangement. You fill the expression of interest, which is online on our website, and it's all done through Irish, Ask Gaeilge. You have an ogilvy to go through with the Offic na Gaeilge, and you get a chance to show off your great Irish language skills in all of that. And then if you have a big interest in speaking Irish as your first language, everybody in the Seánie, because of the way people are selected, are all very willing to do that and get involved in Irish cultural events. We have what we call access rooms. These are for students who have additional needs, and our access department take care of that. We just allocate a certain number of rooms that they look for each year, and there's a separate arrangement whereby you can fill again a form which goes directly to our access office colleagues, and they will go through that process with you. If you get a recommendation, you're pretty much sure of getting a room, unless you come very late, October or November or something like that. So I would say, if you feel that you self-identify with needing an access room for either additional needs or a disability, then I would say encourage you greatly to follow that. Our colleagues in access are experts in this area and are very happy to walk through that process with you. And then we have our sports scholarships. And again, our sports coordinators look after the entry to that. So again, we allocate rooms to the sports. Each of the sports are represented there. So you have, I can't list off all of the sports, but they're all on our website. GAA, rugby, you know, there's a variety of games. I would say have a look at the website, see if you, again, self-identify with one of those. And if you are playing sport at a high level and want to go and live with other sports people and get involved in the sports area, have a look at that and see if you want to take that up. If you could go on to the next one, Marianne.
Should have moved on there. Did that move on?
Not yet. Great. So how much does it cost to live on campus? Again, all of this is on our website, but just to give you a sense of the numbers here, our campus rates have not changed since 2019. So they're reasonable rates, we think, and I think you get good value. The rents are paid in advance of arrival. So the first semester is 2,935. And so you've paid the 500 at the time you've booked, and then you pay 2,935 if you're looking for a single ensuite room, or 2,200 if you prefer to have, you know, a lower price tag, and you're happy to share bathrooms. Usually the shared bathroom area is 5 people sharing 2 bathrooms. So lots of people look for, you know, different supports around how do I finance that and how do I go about, you know, getting that money together. I'm sure Marianne will talk to you later about the budgeting service that is available through Student Services. So you're welcome to avail of that. But everybody pays the same amount. So it's a good idea to check it out. Make sure you do your pre-planning and get in contact with us if you need supports or advice. I would take the next slide, Maria, if you can.
Yeah, it should be coming up there for you.
Do you want to take that, Maria?
Yeah, I can go ahead and do that. So I suppose the nice thing about booking on-campus accommodation is you're booking to be part of a community. And when you book your on-campus accommodation room, you're booking to live with first-year students. And what's really, really nice about on-campus accommodation is you get to meet so many new people, not just the people in your apartment, but in the wider residence, which is lovely. The feedback we get from a lot of students that live on campus is that they've made friends for life, that are still their friends after they're finished in college. And that's a really nice element of living here. The thing we would say that is, if other students from home or friends from home are also coming to Maynooth, the nice thing is Maynooth the Maynooth accommodation is all located together in a residential quarter, meaning that you're never too far away from an old friend or a schoolmate, and that support system is there beside you at all times, even if they're not in the apartment with you. What probably will be different now that you're moving to university from your school life is that you're moving into a very, very diverse community, which is really good. And really exciting for you guys. So for example, within the apartment that you will book, you will be living with all first years, but you will probably be living in a mixed gender apartment with first years that possibly have come from other countries and just from a wide different variety of backgrounds. And that's really important to remember and be aware of when you are booking campus accommodation. We are very happy to be and are very much a diverse community. The other big change for you guys and living on campus will be part of that. And for a lot of the people watching here, this probably will be their first time away from home. So it'll be learning to live independently and on your own. And what that really means is understanding that you are now responsible for getting yourself up on time, out to your 9 AM lectures and not missing too many of them, getting your shopping done, getting your, making sure you're eating healthy, cooking. And the other big element that independent living is going to bring if you live on campus is that you now have to learn to live independently, but in an environment that's shared. And that's huge for students. And it's something that we would like to draw your attention to before you book your on-campus accommodation. So it's being able to understand what that means and being able to work with the other 4 roommates to ensure that you keep the apartment to the standard of cleaning that you're all happy with, and we would expect that to be nice and clean. And also that you know, say somebody's doing something you're just not happy with on a day-to-day basis, that you have the ability to kind of say, well, you know what, I'm not happy about that. And that's all part of the independent living piece that you guys are now going to have to do if you're living on campus. And then finally, part of the community, and it's something that we kind of try to strike home with everybody, is be a good neighbour to your people in your apartment, in the other apartments around you, and in the general community that lives within the area. So one of the first things we ask all students to do at check-in is to have an apartment meeting and all sit down together and really hash out what your expectations for living together is and what that means for you and also for them, because not everyone will have the same expectations or even tolerance level. And it's important to go back to our point about diversity. Different students will have different needs and maybe needs that you don't see that are visible, but it's really important to understand that not everybody will want what you want, and not everybody will have the tolerance level that you have for different things within the apartment. So that meeting is hugely important, and will be really important in building you into the community that we have here on campus. A big one that comes up for us, and it's key to the booking on the day, is how to complete the application form on the booking day. This is paramount to increasing your chances of getting on campus accommodation, because the more prepared you are, the more likely you are to be successful in getting your accommodation. We have a sample application form on our website, and we do recommend that you go through that form well in advance. So it literally goes page by page by page of exactly what you're going to come up across when you're doing your booking. So you could even have it printed out and pre-filled in, so you're literally just typing the information, you don't even have to think. So that's really advisable to do, because the better prepared you are, the easier it'll be on the day. Some helpful tips for booking day that we kind of recommend a lot to students: have your CAO number ready. Do not have to go looking for that number on the day, because if you do, your chances of getting a room have gone way down. And as Corla said earlier, that's not your leaving cert number, and it really is important that that's your CAO number that we put in. You will also need your PPS number to complete the booking, so have that to hand as well. I know Corla already mentioned it, but I really just want to drive this piece home, because it's something that it kind of stumps lots of students. Only use a laptop or a desktop. There are sections of the website that are physically not viewable on a phone or tablet, and you won't be able to see the application link and effectively won't be able to apply for accommodation. So it's really important that you just use a laptop or desktop. I know Corla spoke briefly about the room types. Do your research, use our virtual tour, which I'll chat about in a second, and understand what room type works for your needs, but also what works for your needs in terms of the financial side in advance. You will choose your exact room on the day of booking, and you can choose between the single ensuite or the single shared bathroom. Ensure you have your booking fee of €500 at the time of payment. Your room is only secure when that payment is made. So even if you're on the payment page but cannot complete it, you have not secured your room. So it's really important that you have the card to hand. There's also new regulations that come in. You will also need to have the phone associated with the card with you at the time of paying, because you will be asked to verify via the phone to get the payment to go through by your bank. It's not something that we've brought in, but it is by the bank, and the payment won't go through without that. So to have the card holder phone with you at the time of booking. Once you've successfully completed your booking and made your payment, a confirmation email will be sent to the email address used. If it's not in your inbox, do check your spam, because it will be there. Okay. So we're nearly there. So a really useful tool that we have on our website is our virtual tour. So my advice to you is, why not view our virtual tour from your own home in your own time? So you can go into the different complexes, you can have a look at River, and because purpose-built student accommodation like ours is very much a carbon copy of each other, viewing one River room really gives you an insight into exactly what you're booking and what to expect when you arrive in on-campus accommodation. Each room doesn't have its own makeup. All of the River single en-suites are nearly an exact copy, and the single shared bathrooms are all very, very similar. So when you see one, you effectively have seen them all in a sense. Okay. In there you can see the reception, our post room, our laundry, and it gives you a really nice sense when you can't come up here to see what exactly you're going to be moving into and how that community is shaped and looks for you. So that is on our website, and I would advise you to take your time and go through the different River and Village apartments and have a look at it. So I'd just like to thank everyone for the time, and apologies for getting cut off earlier on. The Wi-Fi just didn't want to cooperate. I know there will be a Q&A after the presentations, and we're happy to take your calls. But if there is any questions after this webinar, please feel free to email theresidence.office@mu.ie, and Corla, myself, or any of our colleagues will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And we look forward to welcoming you to on-campus accommodation in September if you're lucky enough to get it. Thank you very much.
Super, thank you so much. And poor Maria, I feel sorry for you, love, after all of that preparation. And there's nothing we can do about it on the evening. You're so good. And thanks, Corla. Do you know what? It worked really well. But, you know, tag team between the two of you. Yeah. So both Corla and Maria are from the Students' Residence Office. So thank you so much. I can see, folks, that there are questions coming in on the Q&A and on the chat. So whether you want to answer maybe a few of them now, or whether you want to leave them until the live piece, it's up to you. I just thought I'd flag it with you because obviously I wouldn't have the knowledge. So delighted now to present Seánie Comerford from the Student Hub, who's going to share her screen and take it away. So thank you again, ladies. And if you've any issues, just holler. I'm just...
Great. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone can see my presentation. My name is Seánie Comerford, and I'm from the Maynooth University Homefinder Service on campus. So what do we do? Basically, the Homefinder Service is a free service, and it's available to students and the likes of yourselves, prospective students, who require information on options for finding accommodation in the community. So that is off campus for the full duration of your academic programme. So what we do in the Homefinder Service, we manage the Maynooth University student pad database, more about that in a moment. We provide information and resources and information sessions to both students, prospective students, and also to our landlords. So basically, when you're thinking about coming to Maynooth University, and if you're thinking, well, what are my options if I want to live off campus? Essentially, there are two options when living in the community. The first one is that you can share with an owner. So an owner-occupier, and commonly you'll hear this called digs, or at least your parents would have called it digs back in the day. And the second option is to rent a house or indeed an apartment on your own or with others. So most private sector accommodation for Maynooth students is in owner-occupied or family home, that's the digs style accommodation. It is very appealing to first years. We do find that a lot of our first year students like the sense of a kind of a home away from home, I suppose, living with a family, or it mightn't be a family, it could be a single person or one or two other single people, but the owner of the accommodation lives there with you, and it is more home-like. You'll find that many of those type of accommodations also offer food options, half board, full board. That's meaning you can have all your meals or some of your meals. And what we're seeing now as well is that there's more and more flexibility with our landlords and landladies, of course, off campus for students to stay for 3 or 5 nights or 7 nights, or even on a B&B basis, i.e. maybe once or twice a week. So an alternative, like I said, you could also rent a house or an apartment on your own or with others. So just briefly, some things about the regulation legislation that cover these two options for you, because they are very, very different in nature. So firstly, if you are renting a house or an apartment on your own or with others, you need to be sure that you have a lease. You should review the lease very, very carefully before you sign it. You should be aware that you are covered by the Residential Tenancies Act of 2015, so whatever you sign is legally binding, and that there are certain rights and responsibilities of both you as a tenant in that property, and the landlord also has some rights and responsibilities. Typically, any disputes that arise between a tenant and a landlord are mediated and hopefully resolved with the Residential Tenancies Board. So just before I go on, I should tell you that the Homefinder Service website has a lot of information, a lot of tips, and goes into a lot more detail on these type of information and resources for you. Now, alternative to that, if you are renting in an owner-occupied house, i.e. in a family home or in a home that's owned, you know, that's you're sharing with the owner, it is very much a unique relationship. It's unregulated. And for that reason, we do recommend, it's kind of similar to what Maria was just saying there a few minutes ago, but that you do draft a written agreement between you and the landlord and the family owner or the person who owns the house with whom you're sharing. basically kind of like a terms and conditions. It's not going to be legally binding. Officially, they call it a license to reside. It doesn't have any legal standing, but it is a good idea to have that communication before you move, so that again, you have a very clear understanding of, you might say, the rules of engagement in the house, you know, because certain landlords won't mind, be very, or not landlords, but rather, you know, your family that you're living with, or the person you're living with, who owns the property. I just wanted to state that again, and who's living there, won't mind your comings and goings. But other times you'd have a situation where they may be very specific on the times that you can use the kitchen or the living area or the comings and goings, you know. So all that should be discussed before you actually decide to move into that property. And as I said, that's just, it's something you need to propose to that person. Some of them are very, very used to it from, you know, from living with students for many years. And for some it might be new, but it's a recommendation and something that we would highly recommend. So as I was just saying then, just to be very clear on your expectations from the beginning, you know, that communication, for example, or that written agreement between you would also discuss issues like your deposit, and what in the case that you had to return home, if there was, God forbid, but if there was another, you know, a round of COVID, you know, what happens in that situation to your deposit. So it's very, very clear before you're moving in, you know, the different case scenarios and what's agreeable for everyone. And the landlords and landladies really like that as well, by the way. So communication is key. So to know that we have a really excellent database, and it's called Maynooth Student Pad. And you can get a look at it there. It's a very, very friendly user interface. It's available 24 hours. It has live content. So as soon as, and it's always changing. There's always new accommodation coming on board and also moving off as well. You can see photos, descriptions, maps, and you can filter your search according to your preference. For example, you want to live in Maynooth, or no, actually you prefer to live in Lucan, or you want to live in Leixlip, Selbridge, wherever it is, and you can, you know, filter in there the town you want to live in, you do the same Maynooth, and put in what your budget is. So it really is very, very user friendly, and it's exclusive to Maynooth University students only. So you will have access to this in August on receipt of your CAO to Maynooth. Very shortly afterwards, and within 24 to 48 hours, you will receive an email automatically. You don't have to do anything, inviting you to access the MaynoothStudentPad.ie platform, and you'll get all the instructions that you need to access the database at that point. So you don't have to worry about it really until you have that offered. There's nothing you have to do, only wait for that email to automatically come in. You know, it's kind of linked to the CAO. We have, you know, access to that. And you can just jump on then according to the instructions, and away you go on your search. We would suggest, and again, just that you view the room or the property in advance before you ever sign or move into a place. So in these days, of course, via Zoom or WhatsApp or a video call, if not in person, come August and early September. So budget-wise, really interesting to see the budgets. But really, again, it depends on which option you're going for. So in an owner-occupied, i.e. a family home, the digs accommodation, it depends again, are you going to go partial or full board, self-catering or room only? And how many days of the week are you going to stay? I think a really good figure to maybe share with your guardian, your parent or yourselves, if you're looking after your own budget, is around €100 a week. That's a really good average number to have in your mind. And then it can go either side of that. The lowest I've ever seen is about 100, 110, and the upper end then would be about 150, 160. So that's really what you're looking at in a digs accommodation types accommodation. We are seeing more and more in the COVID times that we have been just going through. Also, some landlords and landladies open to you staying on a nightly basis, and the going rate for that seems to be about €30 per night. Okay, so just to bear that in mind as well. Now, if you're going for the other option, that is to lease and rent out a house or apartment on your own or with others, the typical or average price, I should say, your average rent for that is around 400 to 500 per person per month, and that excludes your utilities. So you'd want to be building that in again, you know, how much you're going to have to pay on top of that for bins and or Wi-Fi and other type of utilities. So that is really the bulk of what I wanted to share with you tonight. Really happy to take any questions that you might have, either through chat or through our live conversation. But all the information, and there's a really, really great resources there on our website, and you're free to visit that anytime you want between now and well, whenever you want to, really. So it's at maynoothuniversity.ie/homefinder, and you get a lot of hints and tips and information and support on how best to prepare for your search for accommodation off campus come August. Okay, so thank you very much for your time and attention. There's some useful websites. Again, it's the Homefinder website and some other websites that you might find helpful, like Threshold and the RTBs there, or you can contact ourselves at homefinder.service@mu.ie. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen then, and thank you for your attention to that.
Thank you so much, Seánie. Excellent. Thank you so much. That's very, very informative and insightful. And Seánie will take any questions that you have now at the moment, either on the chat or in the Q&A. And there are some fantastic questions coming in, folks, that I'm keeping a little an eye on. So great, really. And we might put a few of them live to the panel at the end, because I think the audience will appreciate hearing them as well, and the answers. So thank you so much. Without further ado, then we have the lovely Katja Nolan, who is going to give us some information on the conferencing and accommodation side of things. So shorter term accommodation for people who might need it and and how to book on that service. So are you there, Katja? And you can start. Fantastic. I'll move out of your way. Thanks.
I'll share the screen now. So good evening, everyone. My name is Katja Nolan. I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager at Maynooth Campus Conference and Accommodation. Just a small presentation that I have. Basically, the fundamentals are who we are, what we are, where we are, when are we convenient for students, and more importantly, why you might need us. The accommodation options that might be available to you, and also our rates and how you can book with us, and the convenience of booking, and the peace of mind for family or for yourself when you're staying with us on the campus, and obviously social media presence. So we are Maynooth Campus Conference and Accommodation, the university's conference and accommodation office. We have 72 bedrooms available to students to book short stay, nightly, ad hoc accommodation. Our reception is located on the South Campus, and we have very generous opening and closing times. Why might students need to stay with us? Of course, because you might be here for a particular reason, whether it's for study, whether it's for a weekly, nightly basis, on a regular basis that you need to be on the campus. So we are helping students with all their inquiries for overnight stays. So if you need to be on the campus and you've got a full student timetable, say 2 or 3 days a week, and the commute is quite stressful, and you know what, you want to actually maximize the potential of being a student on the campus. We also help students with intervarsity groups and events. So if you're a member, when there's clubs and socks day, fairs day, you'll be joining clubs and societies, and they may have events during the day, but also at nighttime. So you may want to stay on after the academic classes have finished, grab a bite to eat, and then go and attend an event. So that might be convenient for you then to stay over, because you may be back in at 9 o'clock the following morning, or may have an assignment due. Also group stays for your friends or families. If they're coming to visit you and obviously not staying within the apartment, then it means that they're able to stay on the campus close to you and get a feel of the university vibe and the activity that's around on the campus at that time. Also, perhaps for family, say in the beginning, when you're coming up in September, if you're lucky enough to get a place on campus, or you're searching for a home within the vicinity of Maynooth, you may want to stay with us for a few days to get your bearings, and also we'll be able to help you where possible. And also during exam time. This is quite a stressful time for any student. So the months of January, May, and August are especially relevant to you. We've 72 bedrooms all year round, but actually during the summer months, so for June to September, we actually have 1,300 beds. So we're able to help regarding exam accommodation. What do we offer our students? We offer choice of bedrooms to suit most budgets. They're all located on the South Campus. We have 48 college bedrooms. So these bedrooms are not en suite, but they're private bedrooms twin or single, with a wash hand basin within the room. Tea and coffee facilities are within the bedroom, and there's a study desk and chair. And we also have 24 ensuite bedrooms. So for a higher budget, and there's tea and coffee facilities within the bedroom, the study desk and chair, and television. And of course, because our South Campus dates back to 1795, but we are state of the art, there is complimentary Wi-Fi for all our guests. We're very lucky as well to have the beautiful Pusion Hall. If you're lucky enough to be on the campus, the nickname is Hogwarts Hall. A college continental breakfast is served between 8 and 11 in Pusion Hall. They have to be pre-booked, and the room numbers and the names of all our guests are given to the catering department prior to the arrival on the morning. As you can see, it's a substantial continental breakfast. Where is our office on the campus? How do you locate us? The campus in the beginning, you'll think is absolutely huge. It's not. And once you've orientated yourself around and you've done orientation, it gets smaller and smaller. It's a beautiful campus on the South Campus. It dates back to 1795. So the South Campus entrance at the Gate Lodge, the house in front of you when you do arrive is called Stoyt House. And that was the first house that was built in 1795. Our office is very lucky, and we're actually located in the archway on the left. So we're very central. And our accommodation, mainly our college rooms, are in St. Patrick's House, which you can see on that map. And it's very close to the library. So there's no excuse. You could be studying in the library and then staying over. Our en-suites, there are some in St. Patrick's House, and some in Long Corridor, and some in Stoyt House. Our opening hours are quite generous. We open from Monday to Sunday from 7:30 to 11, usually. Now with COVID at the moment, it's restricted hours. But also we're open on bank holidays. How you can pop into us by walk-in, contact us by phone or by email. Why do we feel you might need us? Well, to reduce the commute time. You may, as I said, have a full schedule on a few days and decide that actually, you know what, I want to maximize my opportunity and stay over with the on-campus accommodation. You could be studying late in the library and you just in the middle of an assignment and you just feel actually I'll ring them and I might actually take the opportunity to stay over. You could have a club or society meeting as well, and that could be, as I said, in the evening time. Or you need to get an assignment done. Perhaps you're at home and there's others in the family and you need a bit of peace and you need time to focus. Or during exam times. Or do you know what? Just catching up with friends and having the social activity of being a university student. I'm going to show you a video now. It's the type of accommodation that we have on offer, where our reception is located, and it gives you a taste of what it might be like staying overnight with us. So we have special rates that are available to our students only. So if you're here on the campus for academic business, as for study purposes, you can, with a valid student card, our prices start from €36 on a single occupancy basis. Obviously for budget conscious, if there are two friends that want to share a twin room, it actually reduces the price on a nightly basis. We have additional discounts as well for consecutive nightly stays. So some guests stay with us for 2 or 3 nights or 7-night stays, and the price is reduced accordingly. And for exams, during that time, we sometimes run special offers. They're normally broadcasted and advertised online through our social media channels. So I would recommend maybe perhaps linking in with them prior to being on the campus. And for the convenience of our students, we have a regular short stay booking form. This is to reserve accommodation in advance, perhaps, maybe it's a Monday or Tuesday night or a few nights a week on a weekly basis throughout the academic weeks of the year. So we ask you to fill out the form and then with credit card details, secure the booking. No payment is taken at that time. The payment is only taken on the day of arrival. And we have a very good flexible cancellation policy. I think it's very generous. It's actually, our cancellation policy is actually 11 o'clock on the previous evening. You're able to cancel free of charge. Safety is paramount, especially the day and age, but also in the times that we're living in, but also in general. We have 24-hour on-campus security. All our guests receive their contact details should there be any problem, and they are on 24 hours even if our office is closed. We meet the HSA and relevant Fall to Ireland guidelines. This is very, very important to us. We recommend that perhaps if you're having a look on our website, please look at our COVID-19 safety statement on our website. And this will give you all the information and advice regarding booking with us, checking in, payment, access to your bedroom, and the shared facilities. And we also are lucky to hold the Fall to Ireland COVID-19 Safety Charter. This is a government-endorsed initiative to reassure employers, employees, and our guests that we are ready and open and confident in the product and for you to be staying with us. We have received awards from Fall to Ireland. Maynooth Campus Conference and Accommodation were awarded the Fall to Ireland Welcome Standard. And this is a quality assurance award that ensures our guests receive a friendly, hospitable and efficient welcome and during their stay. We also have been awarded and retained for the last 2 years the Service Excellence Award. This shows that we strive for a best-in-class service experience for all our guests. We are also part of the Stay and Spend scheme. Now, I don't know how long that'll go on for, but perhaps something else will come in its place after that. But it means that it'll actually bring down, reduce the spend, and hopefully a refund may apply. What are the benefits of staying with us? There's quite a lot, but here are a few. We fully service each standard and ensuite bedroom each day. We have single or shared occupancy, so it can bring down the cost for students. And we have a contactless booking procedure, so everything is contactless, where you don't actually have to go into our office at all. And this is in place through the COVID-19 Safety Charter. We have a smartphone room access. You saw that on the video as well. This is an app that our guests download and gives them access for a certain duration to their bedrooms. We have an enhanced cleaning and safety measures in place already. And as I mentioned, the frequent short stay option form, and indeed our generous cancellation policy. How do you make a booking, or how can you get further information? Please phone us and speak to our reception. We're there by email and by phone on 01708 6400, or email our front desk at our reception. We'll be happy to help you at front.desk@mu.ie. But maybe perhaps click on our website. You can book via our website as well for your nightly stays. But that's at www.maynoothcampus.com and view our bedrooms there. We ask that you stay connected with us as well. It's important for special offers, or if we have certain availability that might have been last minute, and we can let you know. So please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and like us on at Instagram, Twitter, I beg your pardon, follow us on Twitter and like us on Visit Maynooth Instagram page. Thanks so much for your time. I'll stop sharing. We really hope that our accommodation offering is suitable for you, for people who are commuting. And if you need further information, by all means, drop us a line and we'll be happy to help you with any queries that you might have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Katja. That was excellent. A couple of questions have come in actually for Katja, the last two, and I've just hit the I will answer them live. So I'm going to put them to you now, if that's okay, and we'll get the ball rolling. So very importantly, it's in relation to the brekkie, to the breakfast. Is there a cost associated with the breakfast, And when do you pay? Is it booked on when you're booking your room, or how does that work, Katja?
Yeah, students can do either. They can either book in advance, or maybe, you know what, I'd recommend maybe try it for the first day and then add it on if you think it's something that you'd like. It is an additional cost. It's served between 8 and 11 in Fusion Hall. And we actually then would give the guest's name and the room number prior to the guests going over for their breakfast. So there's no miscommunication.
Okay. Is it a flat rate like in a hotel?
It is a college continental. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you saw there the list. It's quite a substantial continental breakfast.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And the second then is in relation to, I think you might have answered it as you were going through your presentation, but we'll put it again out just for people. So does the MCCA accommodation have the option of sharing with other students, or is it just single private accommodation that's offered?
Okay, so if there are two friends, absolutely, we've got twin bedrooms. But if you have paid for single occupancy, then no one else will be sharing with you. So don't worry.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Now, other questions have come in, which I know the panelists have been busy answering away, but because the other attendees can't necessarily see that, I might just put a few of them out to the panel here, if that's okay. And then in the meantime, if anyone else attending here this evening has a question that they would like to pose to the panel, they might use the raise your hand option at the bottom of the screen. It's just beside it's at the very bottom of the screen there. You can raise your hand and you can, we will get to you then, we will unmute you. And I see my colleague in the background has just launched a poll. So fantastic. What type of accommodation are you most interested in? And people are voting as we speak, which is great. So while the poll is going on, I think this question actually came in, and it is probably very useful to answer, is will we and students definitely be on campus in September? And I suppose just from an admissions office point of view, we will certainly endeavour, and our every effort will be made to hopefully ensure that students will be back on campus. But as yet, there is no definitive decision made on that. And perhaps maybe Maria or Corla might have some advice for people on the campus accommodation and what to do around that if I suppose if the decision hasn't been made yet really about whether we're going to be on campus or not. Do you have any kind of advice to give people?
Well, I suppose in previous years prior to the COVID pandemic, we would have actually booked CAO rooms in early May. The decision has been made last year and subsequently this year to not do that, because obviously the decision hasn't been made. So that's why the booking won't take place until after the CAO offerings, and that will be mid August. So at that point, we hope to be clearer on where we're at, and admissions will hopefully be clearer as to what the directive is and where we stand with COVID,
Absolutely.
I suppose. And in that way, you're not booking or putting down a deposit until you know exactly what's actually happening.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great. And in terms of then, and I know maybe someone has answered it already, we do have one or two attendees from Europe, so from Spain, I think, or maybe the Canary Islands. How will it work for students who are who live not in Ireland and further afield?
So on-campus accommodation is great for that, because once you book in September, your license lasts until the very end of the academic year. So if you decide, you know what, I'd like to try an Irish Christmas, or I'd like to see what it's like in Ireland at Easter, your room is already booked, you're here, and it's available to you right through the full academic year from September right through to June. And a lot of students who come from abroad use that opportunity maybe to do a little bit of travelling around the country in Ireland, or even use some of the American students use it to pop across to what they call mainland Europe and get, you know, a shorter plane flight to get to Europe. We're Europe too, but you know, just use Ireland as a place to hop across to Europe to see it. So it's great. We love to see international students coming. You're really welcome. Delighted to see you on there tonight.
And maybe I'll just jump on as well.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, sure. No, just with regards to off-campus accommodation, international students are also hugely welcome. We have some landlords and landladies who actually prefer international students, not all of them. And just to let our international students who are with us live tonight know that they will have access to the Maynooth University, the Maynooth Student Pad platform that I spoke about earlier in July. So they actually do get access to that earlier in July, and they get receipt, they get an email with regards to that in late June. So just wanted to let you know about that.
That is great. Thank you so much, Seánie. Someone interestingly posted up earlier on, should people, if they are lucky enough to get campus accommodation, be bringing their own furniture, or are the apartments furnished for these poor people? It's a valid enough question though.
So I think Corla had replied to the question earlier, but the apartments are furnished. We wouldn't recommend bringing any bulk furniture with them. Maybe if they want an extra bookshelf or something like that for the room, but the apartments are fully furnished. They will need to bring kitchen utensils and stuff like that, but couches, chairs, tables, everything is in place for them. And again, if they have a look at the virtual tour, they'll see exactly what's in each apartment.
You're on mute, but there is a question there about that as well, Maria, just in terms of bed linen, what students should bring for on-campus accommodation. Do they need to bring?
Sure. So for international students, because they are traveling, so if there is, I know I'm conscious there is students that are international on here, we do offer the opportunity to book and pay for a bedding pack, which will be in your room in advance, and that's obviously all newly provided. For Irish students, we generally find they prefer to bring their own. So they go out and they buy their duvet, etc. There will be a mattress protector on the bed, but sheets, pillowcase, pillows, duvets, all of that, they generally prefer to bring their own, so there won't be any in the rooms.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, now I had the question there in front of me and I've just, okay. So very interesting, Lee, a question has come in from a deferred applicant. So this is someone who was offered a place last year and deferred their place until this September 2021. And this person has asked, do they still have to wait until, obviously, until the offers, the CAO offers go out in August, or is there some other type of process for a deferred student? Would you know?
So unfortunately, from a campus point of view, we just offer the one booking because obviously the demand for on-campus accommodation far exceeds what we have available, even though we do give over 50% of our rooms to CAO students. So we do one offering, which is the online booking, and as it is first come, first served, all students who will be a CAO first year, be it deferred or new, will apply on that occasion to arrive with us in September.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for that clarification. Someone else has written in that they have maybe weekend or part-time work and are wondering, would they be ever locked out? Is there a curfew? And is there an official gate that closes that would lock a person out after a certain time?
Well, we can reassure that person that there isn't a curfew. We've never operated a curfew. I know that some student residences do. We like to think that our community is reasonably self-regulating, but we do ask people to be aware of noise so that they don't disturb other residents. Honestly, where the residences are, they're on the North Campus, in the residential quarter on the North Campus. So there's really not very much else around the residences but the residences. Having said that, noise can disturb fellow residents. So your key will get you in to your own apartment, to your own block, your own apartment, your own bedroom. We put your key on your student card. So make sure you take care of your student card, because it's not just that, it's also your key. So no curfews, with the caveat that we do want you to think about the other residents as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Corla. One has come in here. Will first year students automatically be put in accommodation with other first year students?
So yeah, that is one thing that we strive to do. So all first years are housed together because they're all experiencing the same things and they're there as a support for each other. So all first years are housed together. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. What about COVID quarantining if you're coming from, I suppose, another country that's on the EU list at the moment, like Spain, Italy, or France? Do we have any directive on that at the moment?
Yes, we've had, unfortunately, a whole year of experience on this subject. And I feel that our students have been well served we offer what we call a restricted movement service. So again, it depends on whether you need it or not. And we won't know until closer to the time whether you need it or not. But we do prompt you to think about it at the check-in stage. So what we do is we send you a form to prompt you to think about certain things to prepare for your check-in, and one of them is COVID. And at that stage you'll have much more up-to-date information. So if you come from a country that requires you to do a restricted movement from home, then your new home will be student residences, and we will be able to offer you a full service, full board, if that's what you want. Or if you have friends who'll do your shopping for you, because you won't be able to go shopping while you're restricting movement, you can choose to do that, but there is a full service. If you are coming from a country which the government has decided is mandatory quarantine, then that's outside of our discretion, and you need to follow the government rules for that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Corla. Actually, this question has come in on a number of occasions. Are you allowed to request to share accommodation with a school friend if both of you are deciding to come to Maynooth University?
So, as I was saying, and as Corla has said, the campus is all in one quarter. Okay, so they're always very, very close by each other. At the time of booking, they pick their specific room that they will live in at the time when they check into campus. So our advice with the demand that is expected on the day is to concentrate on getting a room on campus for themselves. And they'll always be very close by their friends and schoolmates, because they're all in the one area.
Fantastic. And is the accommodation mixed gender, including bathrooms? That question has come in also.
So go ahead, Corla, sorry.
So if you've chosen to have your own bedroom with bathroom en suite, obviously only you use that bathroom. If you've chosen accommodation where it's a single room but with shared bathrooms, then yes, there can be other genders within that accommodation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for clarifying. Do the key cards expire? Another question.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
So we put your access on your key card before you arrive, and it expires just usually the day after you leave in June. Now there is a need to regularly use your card. So the card gets updated all the time every time you show your card to your block door. So it's very important to keep using your card. So in other words, don't tailgate in all the time. I mean, you can tailgate in lots of times, but I think it's after 1 month, if you've never used your key card on the block door or on the library or one of the main updaters, which is very unlikely, it can expire in that, but it's very simple for us to then just redo it for you.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Corla. Another question has come in here. Is there such thing as a sample booklet of the booking process? And if so, where might people access that? So I don't know. Yeah, sorry, Marianne.
I'll go ahead there. Yeah, so I'm actually going to share a screen for a moment, if that's okay with everybody. Hopefully it won't throw me off again. So effectively, we have a page by page of how to complete the application form on the website. So you'll see here, this is our website. If you go into the main accommodation page, you can select CAO New Student. And on the right-hand side, you'll see how to complete the application form, okay? Once you go in there, this will come up for you. It's a PDF, but you can print it off. And it literally shows you page by page, put in your email address, exactly what you need from a personal information point of view, where it inputs and what to input, and it literally goes through how to choose your room. So literally every single page you'll come across on the form is there for them to view.
Thank you so much. The questions are coming in here thick and fast. Is there much space on campus for second year students?
So I'll take that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so first choose do get priority. More than 50% of the rooms go to our first choose. And the reason for that is because we feel that first choose need to get that start, and we give, you know, slightly higher priority to first choose. But there are rooms for second years. And what I would say to you is, if you're thinking ahead, which is great, you're obviously planning for your full degree. We have had people who've lived on campus for their full degree. So it is possible. There is lower priority, there's lower numbers, but there's no reason to think that you can't stay on campus for the full degree if that's what you decide to do.
That's great. Thank you so much. Someone has just asked about the library, which I know we haven't spoken about today. This is about accommodation, but maybe Marianne might know. I know that the library is open at the moment, definitely, and it did remain open even when we were locked down. Was it for click and collect? I apologize that I don't know the
I suppose it's varied. Lockdown has the levels between what we now know is between level 1 to 5. It has varied. At the moment, there are limited study spaces available in the library, and they have certain time regulations on them. They did continue a borrowing service with limited access during lockdown. So I suppose the best answer we can give, both for the library and any of our on-campus plans, is that we'll follow public health guidelines as time goes on. Obviously, we all hope and want to remain positive that we will return to an on-campus presence, and we all look forward to that, because certainly, that's, I suppose, what attracts us all to this type of work as well, that we miss the students, but it has limited opening at the moment, but there is access to the library, but the key is that we will follow public health guidelines.
Absolutely, to ensure safety of everyone, students, staff alike. Yeah, that's the only way we can really do it at the moment, folks. So thank you for that, Marianne. Now, so I'm just reading the questions. So to ensure the best outcome for accommodation, would you be better off to choose an ensuite room or a shared room? And how many would you know are available of each? Thank you.
So what I would firstly say about that is that it is really important to think about all the options that were presented here this evening. I cannot stress that enough. You know, a lot of people just plumb for the student residence, and we're delighted, absolutely delighted. But we would encourage students to think about all the options and decide which option is best for you. When you're on campus, which is the best room, it really is down to your budget, because there's a difference in price, and then it's also down to what your own personal needs are and how much, you know, how much do you want to be able to go into your own room and close the door and not have to come back out again. And you know, everybody needs a little personal space, and it is your home whilst you're here. So deciding is very important, and knowing what, you know, you can afford and what suits your needs best is really, really important. So I would say think about all the options that have been presented.
Very, very sage advice indeed. Thank you so much, Corla. Look, folks, we're slightly over. I'm just going to, there are 2 more questions which I feel I'll do right by people and put them to the panel and get them answered. But that is it then for all of the Q&A section. And thank you so much to everyone for being here, for attending, for sticking with us, and for the lovely panelists who graciously have given up their evening to present to you tonight. So maybe for Corla, which apartments do first years choose from? River, Courtyard, etc.
So it's River and Village.
River and Village. Thank you so much. Are postgraduate students welcome in on campus accommodations?
They most definitely are.
Okay.
And we have an area that we have dedicated to postgraduate students. It's actually quite close to the quiet zone.
Fantastic. And the last one, do international students have to bring their own sheets and pillowcases?
No, not at all. We offer a bedding pack that can be left in the room in advance if that's what the student decides.
Fantastic. Listen, we have gone through a multitude tonight. And again, my sincere thanks to Marianne Dunne from Student Services, to Maria and Corla from the Students' Residence, to Seánie Comerford from Student Hub, to Katja Nolan from the conferencing and short-term accommodation, to my lovely colleagues who are working away in the background, Deirdre Carroll and Judith Caffrey, and to everyone who has attended. I hope you have enjoyed this event as much as I have. If you have any further questions that you would like to put to Corla and Maria, or any of our panelists, please look on the website for details. Unless you want to unmute yourselves there, folks, and shout out your, is it residence.office@mu.ie? I know that one. Yeah. Boom. Okay, Seánie, what are you?
Yeah, homefinder.service@mu.ie.
Homefinders@mu.ie, amazing. And Katja?
front.desk@mu.ie.
Missed the first bit there.
Front.desk@mu.ie.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And if anyone has any admissions questions that they'd like to put to us that they just haven't thought about, anything about degree areas, you can email admissions@mu.ie. Listen, thank you so much. Go off and enjoy a coffee or a tea or a vino or whatever you want, and have a lovely evening and stay safe. And I hope to see you all in September. Please God. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Still have a few attendees there, folks. We'll just wait for everyone to pop off. Thank you so much. If you wanted to have, oh, sorry, that gave me a fright. Shall I call you in on a Teams chat?